Hey, it's Kelly Dix. I just wanted to touch upon a topic that I attended another class on today through an attorney, Rick Linnell, and his associate, Bunny Lieberman. They talked about ladybird deeds. And actually, it's a very simple deed, but it is something to consider if you don't have any estate planning in place for your home. So if you die, a ladybird deed may be an option for you. Usually they're a few $100s, and what the ladybird deed does in summary is that you still own the rights to your property. You can do anything you want with it if you have a ladybird deed in place. You can rent it, you can sell it, you can refinance it, you can change your deed at any time with who the deed recipient is after you die. But it just puts it in place that if you do die, that somebody you want will be able to retain the rights of the property while avoiding probate. Usually probate is a few $1,000s, depending on if there's anybody that would question maybe the ownership after you pass. It could take a long time, it could be a short period of time, but this way there's no question in place with who you want to have your property after you die. So it might be an option. There are other options that you can do. There's a trust you can put in place. Those are usually a little bit more and more money, and they're usually more involved. So if you have more assets, that might be an option for you, is to put a trust in place. They do have life estate deeds that are an option. So if you do have a property, I guess my point is here that you should have some kind of estate planning in place, because after you die, the people are distraught in your family, and there may be hardships where people are fighting over your property. This way, if you do want to have someone in place to get your property, it is all in writing. And even if you have a will in place, sometimes those are not as strong as a ladybird deed. A ladybird deed, the property will transfer right upon your death, and that person on your ladybird deed will get the property. Then whoever receives the property after you die, they can pretty much do whatever they want with it. They will own the property. They can move in, live in it, they can rent it, they can sell it. A will just kind of is a roadmap to what you want to happen after your death. So sometimes even if you have a will, you could still have to go to probate and get things straightened out. Another example of something to take into consideration is maybe you were a single person, owned your home, and then you got married. So do you want to protect your spouse? If they are not on the deed, they may cause issues when you die after, because they are not on the deed. They may still have to go to probate, or could even lose their interest in the home. Here's another situation too. Maybe you are just two people living together and you want to protect the other person if one person dies. Are you both on the deed right now? If not, you may want to look into protecting the other person, especially if they're both contributing financially to the property. I know that it's been popular to prepare a quitclaim deed and maybe file it or not file it, put it away. And Rick did talk about some instances where that could be hazardous, that maybe people don't know where the quitclaim deed is at, that people could dispute it. So maybe that you may say that the person, when they did the quitclaim deed, they weren't of sound mind. And also, when a quitclaim deed is drawn up, you are actually deeding your property to that person. So if you quitclaim deed someone on your property, they actually are the owner of your property. So if you do want to refinance or sell or rent it out or do anything with their property, they are part owner on the property too, and they would have to sign everything involved in that property. So like we talked about the ladybird deed kind of protects your ownership as yourself. When you add somebody on a quitclaim deed, they actually are getting deeded on the property. So you just need to be careful with your estate planning and with your deed. Another thing we talked about was if there is nothing in place and somebody passes away, no will, no deed set up, then it probably has to go through probate. And depending on how many heirs are involved, the process could take a few weeks up to longer. And the process could cost money as well. Just to file, just to give you a round estimate of filing for a probate case, we were given around $2,000. So to put a deed in place ahead of time, or to plan properly your estate planning ahead of time, even though you're paying money up front, it most of the time is a lot less than if you have to pay for it after. And at least your wishes are well known by everybody involved. So either you pay now or you pay later. And also another thing I learned today too, that when there is a probate case, you do have to file with your tax ID number for the estate, and you have to file a bank account so that all the proceeds from the sale of the home need to go in this account for approximately 6 months for any creditors or people that can come after the estate. So that those funds need to sit in an account for that long, just to satisfy any creditors that are out there as well. So these are all just general scenarios. If you are in a situation where you have someone that has passed away, probably need to talk to a real estate attorney or even an agent to just get advice on really what you should do next. To properly plan for your estate when you pass away. Nobody likes to think of that now, and nobody really wants to spend the money up front. But in the long run, if you have yourself prepared for what happens when you die, I think things would be a lot easier after you die. If you want information or referral information, I'm going to include Rick Linnell's information here below, and you can contact them. They're a local attorney that's very experienced in probate and real estate law. And as always, like and subscribe to my channel. I try to put updates of new videos every week about real estate or things going on in Clinton Township. Thanks.